All right, well, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin,
I'm Tarsha.
and this is, of course, Conversations with the Crawleys, where we have conversations about faith, family relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentary on some of our favorite TV shows, especially centered around relationships and dating and all that fun stuff. So if this is content that you enjoy, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications,
And share.
and we will see you in the comments. This one is all about Put a Ring on It, Season 3. We're probably about, what, halfway through, most of the way through?
Yeah.
Probably maybe a
Closer
date
to
or
the
two.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we pick up, and of course, they're in group session, reviewing dates.
Right.
Dr. Nicole is basically made the edict, if you will, that all right, you can't. There are no new dates, so
Right.
no, you're not meeting anybody new.
Correct.
You have an opportunity to go on another date with somebody you've already been out with,
Right.
or just don't go on a date.
Right.
So Alfonso's up first, and he wants his second date with Tanisha.
Right.
They seem to have a good vibe. Shay wants to go out with Asar. And y'all remember Asar was the brother that tried to keep her calm when she was about to get a plate cracked upside her head.
That was the boxing ref.
Yeah. So she wants to go on a date with him to kind of make
To your
amends.
corners.
Okay. Charlie wants to go back out with Chris, who, based upon, of course, editing, but basically just a few minutes before, she said she didn't want to go on a date
Right.
with him because it might be unfair because he says he wants to take her away
Woo her
from
away.
Otis, right?
Right.
So she does want to go on a second date with Chris. Otis is like, okay, cool. I'm going to go on another date with Cherie. Kenneth wants to go with Myasia, who was or is an acquaintance also of Shorty. And then Shorty is going on a fourth date with Tavi. So Shorty and Kenneth are back at their house.
Right. And so they're not getting along, obviously. And, he wants the respect, or he's requiring respect from her.
Right.
And she's like, you don't deserve it.
Basically is what she said. Yeah.
Just to keep it simple. So I don't feel like they made any progress. It's not, they're not moving forward or backwards. It's like no one wants to say, you know what, here's where I'm wrong.
Right.
I need to do better in this area.
Right.
That's what it boils down to. So,
Yeah, because she basically said everything. She's like, everything I say to you triggers you. But then he was like, you gonna watch how you talk to me,
right.
anime. You gonna watch how you talk to me. He says, so he does ask, okay, what can I do?
Right.
And she's like, all right, you can stop lying,
Right.
stop fake apologizing,
Right.
stop pretending. She ran down. She at least had a list. She at least was prepared.
She did. She basically is like, just be honest with your feelings so
Right.
I know where we are.
Right.
Instead of you lying about your feelings. Then you turn around and then I get the truth. So she's like, I don't know how to move if you're not telling me where you are.
She's basically saying, when you move, I move.
Right.
Just like that.
Right. Right.
Like how I worked that in. All right. So but she also says she's not going to create a fantasy of a relationship. Which,
I think she already did.
yeah. and she's waking up to the reality
Right.
of what she actually has.
Right. And I think it's kind of too late because she mentions it in her date that she was like, I'm trying to fix people
Yeah.
and make them and mold them to what I want them to be.
Yeah.
So she likes fixer-uppers. That's what she's saying.
So she had a date rehab.
Right. And
Fix a flip.
fix and flip. Right. And we shouldn't be doing that. If the people don't have the qualities or the potential to say, you know what,
Right.
these are the areas I'm working on and I want to be this type of person. If
Right.
they can't tell you that, you need to move on.
Right. There's a difference between the expressed potential of a person and hoping for the potential that they haven't expressed or haven't even given you a clue to.
That's good.
In other words, you can date somebody and you can see they're not where they want to be right now.
Right.
But they're like, these are the steps. These are my action plans. This is my timetable. They're talking that of where they want to go.
Right.
That's different than the person that is where they are and they're taking no actions, no steps, and you're saying, but he's got potential. You might see the potential in them, but if they don't see it in themselves, you're going to be consistently trying to change and shape and mold them into what you think they can be, which differs from what they see themselves as.
Exactly.
That's setting yourself up for failure.
It don't work that way.
No. And she's like, she's not going to commit when he's not giving her what she wants and what she needs. And it makes sense.
Right.
I wouldn't want to commit to something that I'm not getting what I need out of it.
Why would you want to get married for potentially you ending a marriage?
Right.
It's like cut your ties and move on quickly. And then as you learn from your experience, you can find what you want.
Right.
And they can give what you need.
Yep.
And you can both express that to the individual you should be with.
Exactly.
Because I know we didn't talk about dates, but it's just kind of intertwines, and it might just make it simpler for us. It's just like when he went on his date with the young lady.
With Myasia.
Myasia. I feel like they're the same age. So when you're around the same age or younger, what you're looking for and what she's looking for, you don't have to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's at her level of what she wants in a current relationship.
So you think they're the same age? My opinion, I think that he might be a little older than her, but I think maturity level, they're on the same page.
That's possible. That's possible. But I'm thinking they may be closer than age than
they're at least closer in maturity. They're
right.
closer in maturity than
right.
he and Shorty are.
Right. So why, as she said, pick someone out of your league?
Right.
When you may need to find someone that's on the same level with you.
Absolutely.
And you work to grow. Because it sounds like this other young lady is giving him the affirmation he needs to help in his process of developing in a man.
Right.
And I think all men want affirmation from the partner they're with.
Absolutely.
You know, and if he's not getting that from Shorty, maybe finding that will get him to the place where he needs to be when he comes to a certain age.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So Fonzo goes on his second date with, what was her name? Tanisha. A lot of flirting back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, he's a social person.
Right.
So he can talk to anyone, hold a conversation with anyone. You know, I think he was just trying to say, or for himself and for Shay, I'm not just messing with these women and just trying to get in relationships or situationships or whatever. I can handle myself without you breathing down my neck.
Right.
Or you know, looking over my shoulder.
I have my own set of rules that I said.
Thank you.
And you're going to have to learn, you're going to have to feel comfortable with the fact that I abide by the rules that I've set for myself in the relationships.
And trust me, but again, if you can't talk to your family and you can't set boundaries there, I get why she has a problem.
Oh, yeah.
With where he is.
Absolutely. Then Kenny, like you mentioned, he goes on his date with Myasia. The other thing that he said about that was that he downplayed the kind of his attraction and his impact from the first date because he didn't want to hurt Shorty. And Shorty actually kind of called him, excuse me, on that before, saying that he was, he was doing that and not really engaging in the process.
Right. So a lot of them did that, went back to the first date. It's funny how the men were like, I'm going to be standoffish and I don't want to, where all the women were like, hey, so what are you?
Set them up. Let's go. Let's do this.
And this is interesting. It's like when I'm giving permission for you to date, then you're not interested.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Otis goes on his date with Cherie, and again, he's the other one that said he didn't feel like he gave her a fair chance.
Again, she was like, he's superficial.
Yeah.
And he comes off that way.
Yeah.
To me, I don't see a lot of depth in him as an individual.
No.
And she's not losing out on anything.
Not at all.
Hopefully he gets, everyone should always go through therapy and get to a place where we find out, since he says he's a traveler and different stuff like that, why can't you have conversations with women where they can be mutually respectful,
Right.
and be just authentic,
Right.
so.
Charlie goes on her date with Chris. And the restaurant was a little different just because it seemed like they were sitting over.
More like a lounge.
Yeah, it was
but
lounge.
They serve food, but I mean, like, if you're gonna bring me out a plate like the size of a small desk, I feel like
I need to be at a table.
right, because they were trying to eat from
not
so
off a little
far.
coffee table.
Yeah, so
A
I
little
was like,
nightstand.
then y'all need to do appetizers, but that's
So she tells him about what Otis had said as far as that Chris was, because remember the whole thing was Chris had basically was like, my goal, I'm trying to take you away from Otis. And Otis was like, well, that's because he think you weak. And so Charlie told Chris that, and
right.
Chris was like, nah, that ain't it.
Right.
He like, I think you dope. It's less about you
Right.
and more about, I don't know that he's quality. So
right. And exactly. And for her to have to bring it up, obviously he was flirting, right? He's trying to make his move, and I don't blame him if he's attracted to her. That's what he's gonna say,
right.
And to feel like there's so much more behind this, she's like, well, I know I'm a strong woman. Then why are you bringing this up? Is it supposed to make Otis jealous? And then you bring it up again. He was like, well, obviously, I feel like we're vibing. We're having good conversation. I'm hoping that's enough for you to know that there's more out there than Otis.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Especially in them Atlanta streets. All right. And then Shorty goes on her fourth date with Tavi.
I like Tavi. He's very direct.
Yes.
He's like, I'm a little sad that this is not working, but he wanted to know, like, okay.
He's like, okay.
You're on 4 days, girl.
Where are we going with this? And so Shorty is basically like, you know what? I've had a great time with you, but I've got to focus on me,
right,
in making the decision,
right,
for my relationship.
Right.
She's like, okay, if Shorty's going to give his all, or at least say that he's giving his all,
right,
I've got to give my all,
right.
And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work.
Right.
But I can at least say that I gave it my all.
Right.
Which definitely, kudos for saying that and for approaching it that way. I still believe that they're done. I don't think that they'll continue on.
Currently where they are, I feel like it's necessary. I feel like there needs to be a fresh start. And again, I think taking the time to identify, like she indicated that she was more self-aware, that, she said something she shouldn't have said.
Right.
And she's done something she shouldn't have.
Right.
According to her current relationship. So I think they just need to take time. She needs to reset. He needs to reset and move on.
Yep.
It's to me, it's weird when there's more out there and you're not married, right? So it's like, for me, I feel like there's an opening where I don't have to fight for something that's not there.
Right.
I haven't made any long-term commitments that this cannot be broken.
Right.
And so when you're at a place, to me, I'd be like, well, it's just not working. I'm moving on. Yeah, you invested some time. Yeah, you have feelings. But if the other person is not willing to walk and work on their journey, y'all need to move on. Move on. Please. Save more heartache and just go ahead and move on.
Right.
And obviously that's always easier said than done.
True.
But if you're saying these are your deal breakers and that person has not decided to move in a direction towards that,
right,
and you're not seeing fruit in those areas, you need to go ahead and move on.
And you're not hurting anybody. Yeah, you might have some hurt feelings for a little bit, but I'd rather make the breakup, be done with it,
right,
and move on,
right,
than spend another 3-4 years. Are we going to work out?
especially if you're saying I do want to get married,
Right.
and it's not working out,
Right.
then they're enough 4 years in. Then by then, sometimes people decide to start having children with this
Yep.
person. Then you're forever connected, and you're just back and forth, and no one goes anywhere.
Didn't work. And then Shay goes on the date with the boxing referee, as you called him. Sorry. And they, she apologizes to him.
Yes, which I thought was appropriate.
Yes.
You know, because she was like, "Is he even going to show up? He thinks this girl is crazy."
Yeah, I would not have been surprised if he showed up with like bulletproof gear on,
Shut up.
tactical armor or whatever. Like, look.
You know, but he was really kind, and he was like, "I appreciate you for apologizing," you know. And he was like, he was concerned,
Right.
you know, about her and everything. So he seemed like a really nice guy. But again, he's like, "So where are you with this relationship?" You know, I really appreciate hearing that more people are asking up front, where are we going?
Right.
Where are you headed? Instead of just playing along like nothing happened.
Right.
And thinking like, okay, well, maybe she's into me or whatever.
Right. Yeah. You know, the first date is always going to be the let's, you know, just getting to know you, hanging out, what have you.
Whatever.
But if you get asked on a second date, then yeah, it's like, okay, you're at least maybe feeling me.
Right.
What's, you know, what's your thoughts behind it? Especially if you know that they're this late in the process.
Right.
And then of course they come back and meet with Dr. Nicole. And then they're kind of reviewing their dates. As far as, and she, you know, kind of lets them know, okay, so you still have the opportunity. What do you want to do as far as date? You can go on the person that you, on the date with the person you just went out with, or what do you want to do? So Shay and Alfonso choose to go on dates with each other, which, yeah, you in this process you haven't dated the person, at least as far as what we've seen them. They're living together, what have you, but you haven't dated the person, which gives them an opportunity, yes, to have that conversation. So Shay and Alfonso are going to go on a date. Shorty and Kenneth are going to go on a date. Charlie was like, yeah, I want to, you know, see where things are, but I want to go hang out with Chris again.
Right.
Then Otis is like,
Because she said she want closure.
right. Well, she says she want closure, but even and I can agree with Otis on this. It's like, what closure do you need?
Right.
Because let's review the timeline. Right. She went on the date with him. She said she was not going to go on a second date with him. But then when her only option was to go on a second date with him or one of the other people, or just not date, she chose to go on a second date with him. So if closure was the issue, that second date should have been closure.
It should have been, but I don't see. This was only been a second date, so I don't see where there's closure necessary.
Right.
He's telling her, "Hey Charlie, I think you're a wonderful girl. I think we vibe. I think we do well together. Blah blah blah. It's up to you." So he left the door open for her to walk through.
Right.
To me, the third date be like you opening the door.
You walking through the door.
There's no closure necessary.
Right.
Now, if they'd had 3 dates in a row, like Shorty
and
did,
Tommy, their fourth date was closure.
Right.
That's closure, right?
Right. Because she was saying, look, if it doesn't work out, you know, I think I need to take time for myself.
Right.
Whatever. I need to work on myself. I'm choosing me.
Right.
In this process and not seeing anyone else.
Right. So as a result, Otis is like, cool, I'm going to go on a date with Sheree. So once again, pettiness on both sides, in my opinion. I'm not going to put it all on Otis this time. Pettiness on both sides raises its head in this relationship. That's kind of where it ends. That's where it leaves off.
Right.
Next week's trailer looks very interesting.
Yeah, we got cartwheels and
shorty,
dance moves.
I don't know if you was hitting that tequila a little too hard, that Casamigos or whatever, a little too hard.
You saw him take something to his head.
Oh, he took a couple of things. He took the brown and the white to his head. He had the brown and the white going to his head. So yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting to see how all that plays out without, you know, the trailer edits. So that's it for this one. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your thoughts are, what we might have missed. And definitely we'll see you in the comments again. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications, and share. And we'll see you next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.